Another question here is what minimum education or training should you be looking for in a potential investigator? That's a great question, Ron. So you want to make sure that where employers get in problem and get into trouble is where they retain an investigator who doesn't have experience doing the type of investigation that's needed. So there was a case that I reviewed in a previous webinar on pitfalls that for employers to provide to pitfalls for employers to avoid when doing an investigation. And one of the mistakes is that you hire someone who's done investigations, but in this case of home hardware, they had a sexual harassment complaint and they hired an investigator who had no experience conducting a sexual harassment investigation, right? And that's that's a problem. Sometimes you're looking for someone who's got experience in a particular industry or context, right? So, for example, I have a lot of First Nation clients, and they're just unique circumstances to consider in that environment and reporting relationships and the way that folks interact with each other, and sometimes there's family histories there, right, that come into play and are part of the context. Like I said, because of the uniqueness of that environment, I would want someone who has experience, working with that particular client group to do that investigation. So you're looking for someone who has the right background. You don't. Again, depending on the nature of the allegations, you may want someone with legal experience, and this may be a situation that might lead to litigation, and so you definitely want. It's helpful to have a lawyer involved and have someone approach that situation through that legal lens and make sure that you have a written report at the end of the day that's very thorough, that's airtight, that covers all of the relevant evidence, and then you have a document that you can rely on to make whatever decisions need to be made. Maybe someone's going to lose their job over this. Maybe there is going to be potential criminal charges that flow because the situation involves fraud or the misappropriation of funds or sexual assault, and this might be a document that the police ultimately reference and may rely on. So again, depending on the circumstances of a case, you're going to look for someone who has the right background. But for complex situations, it's helpful to have someone who is a lawyer who understands evidence. In our case, we've litigated a number of cases before, so we understand how a case needs to be put in front of a court or put in front of an arbitrator, and the investigation report then reflects, right, that the fact that we've identified the right witnesses, we've referenced the evidence in a comprehensive way, we've reached conclusions that we can back up, and then if we're called as witnesses, that you can have confidence that the investigator, who's a lawyer and who's got background in litigation, if called as a witness, is going to be able to speak in a confident and persuasive manner at a hearing, as opposed to someone who may not be familiar, right, with that environment, and that might pose some difficulties for them.